All righty, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and it's your boy Dave coming back at you live, and it is a happy Fast Money Friday. Hope you guys had a fantastic night of sleep. Let's close off the last trading day of the week as well as the month of May. So May 31st, last day of May. So let's get into our news, and then we'll jump into our watch list. We got stocks fell yesterday as Salesforce sank 20%. The cloud software vendor had its worst day since 2004 after the company released weaker than expected fiscal first quarter results. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was dragged down by Salesforce and slid 330.06 points or 0.86%. The S&P 500 lost 0.6%, while the Nasdaq Composite had the worst day, falling 1.08% with a weakness in technology names. AI darling Nvidia also slid more than 3%, which was its first drop since its huge earnings report last week, and Microsoft declined more than 3%. So yeah, yesterday we had a huge fall in the markets, and so if you were trading the Nasdaq NQ futures yesterday, it was just a huge continued short day. And today we got a nice 8:30 a.m. news surge. However, we just hit the 18,667. So this was a great long play here. But I actually ended up taking a short right at that 18,667 line. So this is becoming a great short right now. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the ride. Right now we are coming back down to where you should probably cover. So I would wait until the market opens from here at this point. All right, well, getting into the watch list, you got NVOS, pretty much, Fast Money Friday early bird special here at the 70-cent mark, and this is what the herd decided to come over. This is a big party play, so it went up all the way up to $1.04 here so far. You're not going to see a whole lot press releases this morning from a lot of companies, but NVOS does have a PR. So let's take a look at it here real quick and see the company itself. This is a USA healthcare company, and it is a 15 million float. Came out with a press release stating that the company board of directors conducting strategic review to increase maximum amount under stock repurchase program. So it is a stock repurchase program news, and we got a very nice run up so far. We've been seeing a lot of micro penny stocks the past 2 weeks, almost, now that it's been the main big runners. Okay, so $1 is naturally going to be a very strong resistance, obviously coming from this micro penny land, and we'll see if it decides to become $1 support and to continue the higher lows from there. But as you know, the story goes where the stock just goes up, 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 up. You got a short window before the stock gets the bear raid, so meaning it's kind of up, 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 up like this, and then you just kind of start fading away. So you got up, 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 up. Market opens here in the small cap world. You got small window for making a new high and then a drop. All right. Next stock on the watch list here is XHG, which you'll not see here on the Trade Ideas top gainers list, and that's because it is a brand new born baby stock. Okay, so you see there's no history, right? It's a brand new born baby. It's a Chinese real estate company. Actually, if you look it up on Finviz, there is still history showing, but I'm not sure why it's not showing up on the Trade Ideas. Maybe because they had some sort of a deficiency notice where the NASDAQ minimum bid price, they got that deficiency notice. But anyways, the point is we did trade XHG earlier here from 135, and we did hit up to 150 so far. And so right now, ever since then, it's just been downtrending, and we are at the 118 support line that I have. So 4 million float. So it's a really low flow stock, but volume comes in, it should be able to move back on up. If not, you got the 200 and 500 EMA that needs to hold. Loosey Goosey, once again, on the watch list. It's back on some momentum again. We were looking for that $1 break. However, a little bit slightly disappointing with the target not hitting. It only got up to about 107, so 3 cents away from hitting the first target. So we're still kind of struggling back and forth between that 1 to 110 mark. we'll keep an eye on Lucy to see if we get some more volume back above $1, hold that $1 support, and then buyers really just pushing it up. The other two stocks in the watch was Buru and GMPX. Again, they just don't have any news. So, just watch these. If the volume does come in, I'm not expecting a whole lot for a Fast Money Friday. You're going to see a lot of pre-market runs and then probably lots of dumps happening at the market opens. But I'll look for these setups where these prices have come down nicely and look for reversal. So right now, let's kind of wait till market opens on up, as it is going to open up here in 20 seconds. GMPX, it's my least favorite because it has the least amount of volume out of the on the watch list right now. So we need more volume there. Definitely right now, NVOS is the king. So let's focus on NVOS and NQ here. Here we go. Let's have a great day, folks. Last day of the month. Close strong. Okay, as you know, as it is downtrending at market opening, we have to kind of really keep an eye on for it to see if the buyers kind of try to push it back up or not. You do have the 14 EMA now as resistance, so that's going to be the 18,620 line.
CCG. Northeast. STSS. SPWR. Northeast.
Okay, so right now, NQ is still on a crack because we are now below the 14 EMA on the 5 here, and we should be coming down towards the next areas of these lines here, as it is making lower highs and lower lows. We were very oversold here, so I mean it was a great opportunity for you to take that short there, and now we're back at the about mid RSI level. NVOS for my stock folks, we are getting that juice as well as Lucy. So for those that are holding on Lucy, I think Lucy might be getting the juice now that the NVOS is getting a little bit of pullback. Okay, so Lucy so far so good. NVOS naturally should try to fall. Like I said, you got up, short window for it to make one more high today and then drop. But we'll see if it's going to be back above $1 later or not. Okay.
ONMD.
Lucy from our $1 mark is going again. We need to establish the 111, 110 area now as support and go towards 118. That 118 line from previous resistance. Now, Lucy has been running for a couple days now. We got to remind myself if we have any offerings here on this. Well, they have a June S1 offering in 2023. I don't think it's a big risky stock. Okay, coming down further here now to this line right here, 50 EMA. Great job for those that are on the short side. It is now. I would watch NASDAQ. Right now we're barely up like 7 points. So
ISPs.
I would potentially look for a potential green to red today. So I'm gonna be watching here as it comes down towards the VWAP. You got a VWAP support there a little bit. Yeah, we got about less than a minute now on the candle on the 5 minutes, so I would wait now unless you're looking to cover now here, and then wait for the next next candle. I would say we are relatively quite oversold here at the near the VWAP here, so we should be able to see a little bit of a settlement around this level here. So I'm gonna be watching closely. As you know, lower highs, lower lows. Just watch the RSI here.
AR.
I think we should see a little bit of a bounce here at the VWAP. Usually does get a little bit of a bounce.
SMR. Apps. ALH.
There we go. Nice little quick move on out from the VWAP here. There's a 1 minute on the VWAP as well. I have lately been watching the 1 minute and the 5 minute close together actually on the futures. So 1 and the 5 minute actually has been helpful. Again, throughout the whole week today, I have been green. I've been just posting my green profits at the end of the week instead of daily. It's just maybe different season of my life where it's not so much every day thing, every weekly or monthly thing has been more of my taste. So you got nice bounce off the VWAP. Hopefully you grab that buy there. That was the area that good support level there. Now you're getting a nice bounce.
Apps. ONMT.
Lucy, you know, just personally, I'm taking it more easy on stocks this morning because I don't really see a whole lot of great setups except for the only top two that I'm going to be really focusing on is just NVOS and Lucy. There might be another stock that could start bringing in some heat, but I think futures today is going to be more fun. Fridays just always is a pretty good green easy day on the futures. Yeah, guys, I highly, I'm gonna say this again for those that are relatively new. Like, I just think like if you have less than $25,000, okay, I don't think stocks is where you would focus on. Like, I'm not saying you can't, you still can. I just think if you haven't, if you don't have above $25,000 mark still, I just think you need to get back. You need to go into futures and practice futures trading, and then stack some money on futures, you know, and then deposit that 25K into like a good brokerage. Like I don't think, you know, trying to get by playing, you know, using these high fee brokerages like, you know, what's it called, that the ones in the Bahamas. I know you want to get above the PET. Now it's a 1 day settlement, but still, I just think it's way better for you to save money by risking a prop firm account on futures. Yes, the game is a little different, right? Like here on the futures, you do not need to look at, you know, certain things like the scanners and what's the flow. Hey, is there news? You know, futures, there's a lot less things to look at, right? You're just mainly looking at a lot of technicals, looking at the indicators, the lines, support resistance. And so I use my own account and prop firm accounts, and I have been doing and enjoying well on the future. So I think people are still missing out if you're constantly just mainly trying to make it in stocks. And let's say you're not getting the results that you're looking for, perhaps again, futures is a great way. So take a look at the futures channel on the Discord. And I know when you want to learn something new, it's always a little bit annoying and it's a little bit of a task. But once you get through that first stage, you guys know it's worth it. So we're getting a nice pop from the VWAP. Look at this beautiful pop. Now we're coming up towards a little bit of a trend line, up towards 50 EMA here on the one end of 14 EMA. So I would look to sell it into this area here and then back flip on the short, because we're gonna see that right there, 14 EMA. This is where you want to sell, and then quickly flip it into short, and then see if it comes back down to this line. And if we crack that line, we're gonna continue to pull back down there. So that's what I like to look at here. Still holding out, so we might be able to still try to make a little bit of a quick room up here. We got a new candle now, so RSI is actually moving up, but we're coming up to this trend line here as a resistance. So let's see. Right now, RSI is bullish, so bulls are pushing still heavily from the VWAP, but we are testing a little bit of resistance trend line here. So just saying, if you bought in at the VWAP, good area to lock some in. And then wait till the nice, it's going to be a breakout out of this trend line or not. I think it's going to be a bit tough, but right now, let's see. The NASDAQ is recovering pretty nicely back on up to now up 48 points. NVOS should still kind of pull back down. Should be a nice short fade. Again, NVOS fades, you're going to get more juice on Lucy.
Follow. BCRS. Yes. Wow. SFIS. SFIS. ALLR. SFIS. APLD. BTDR. BTDR. W.
Okay, so nice sell into this area here. That's a big rejection at the trend line. And NQ is it was really nice because you're just kind of playing the technicals. As long as you're focusing on the technicals, you'll be fine. On the stock world, you know, you need to look at just a couple more things, and you need to be a bit, I would say on the stocks, like it's a little bit less forgiving. So because, you know, on futures, for example, you could still dollar cost average, and you can still get out. But with stocks, once the momentum dies, meaning like the herd is done with it, it's done. Like it doesn't matter how much you try to buy up. I mean, you need the other guys to buy up your sells, right? So like here you got plenty of, there's not going to be of that kind of concern. Now there's obviously timing, like you don't want to be trading stock futures towards the end of the day, like 4 p.m. because that's when a lot of the folks start just shutting it off and there's just no volume. And now, you know, you're kind of holding the bag, even if you know, you try to average down or something, because it's not going to move a whole lot. It's just going to be trading sideways. Yeah, you know, I've been trying to figure out like the recording thing. Like we have the recording up on our YouTube, our past, but like I think for now I'm gonna just upload everything on the weekend so you guys can catch up on the weekend. Unless someone really, you know, needs to look at the previous day, but that's currently my plan. So each week at the end of the weekend, end of each week. I'll upload it so you guys can watch on the weekend if you guys missed out on certain days.
BL,
Right now, traders are trying to push this trend line, but I'm waiting for this next 1 minute just to see how it looks on the candle. Because I'm looking at the 15-minute chart right now, and it is quite up at that mark. Same thing here on the 5 minute. This wick here is a problem. So, and if it does not drill through that line, we're gonna potentially come all the way down to the 15. Like I think around this line here, this area. I mean, we got all this room to run back down. So, with the lower highs happening, most likely if this doesn't get through, we're gonna continue to deconstruct and come all the way flooding down. So take advantage of the buy at the VWAP and sell into the trend line, and then now you just, I would say, if you're more on the bullish side, wait till it really breaks out of the downtrend line. You don't want to get faked out into it, because people that just fake bought into it here, they're down now, right? Like already 20 points. So let this thing fall down. I'd rather stay on the short side here, and look at that fall just now from 1630 now, or that's a 30-point drop. And I'll show you what I mean here on the 15-minute chart. You can see here, right? Every time it pops, rejects, pops, rejects, pops, rejects, pops, rejects. Right there, that was a rejection right there. And I'm like, man, we got all this room to run down. So, you got to have that bird's eye view. Now on the 1 minute, look at the 1 minute too. 1 minute looks even more gross. Just crack there as well. So I use the mainly 5 minutes and the 15, but like I said, I added the 1 minute recently, and it's been
BTBR,
working well.
SR, SNR, BNT, LFMT,
Okay, so we're back down to the 200 on the 1, which is around this line here at the 50. And this is another good area to kind of cover and then wait or see the buyers come back in or not. But right now, I think it's going to be a bigger drop because we are getting lower highs and lower lows, and you should be making another lower low here below the what is that, 73. So yeah.
ACIU, ACIU,
Yeah, and there she goes. There's a new low of the day. So now you stay short on NQ, and now you're good. And cover into a new low of the day, because there's always going to be a little bit of pop at a new low of the day at the market opening here. So okay, and VOS looks like we are still going. It rebroke back above $1. So it held a 92 line here on MBOS. The line at 92 here, let's see. At 92, that was area here again. So you see that new low, you cover, and there's a pop. Buyers come back in at the new low of the day, and there's another bigger pop there.
Northeast. AMS.
Okay, so getting rejection again on AQ should continue to pull down more, in my opinion. Just making lower highs and lower lows still. So yeah, we're only got NASDAQ. It just gave away all that almost 50 points here.
MMFT. NBOS. NBOS.
So another lower low. So you want to go ahead and lock something in, but we are still very bearish here. So
YH.
what a play on NVOS 120 now. I have a line at 120, so 120 is going to be a big natural, not natural, but the candle break line next. But I think 120 is going to be tough.
RGLS. CBAT.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough, guys. 120 is like the 200 on the daily as well. So NVOS 120 candle break line resistance. Just FYI. I would be surprised if it continues to blow up above 120. I mean, it's already traded over 100 million volume, so that is impressive, but okie dokes. We got NQ still just draining down the toilet. Brutal. I think the way it's heading right now is what technically like the Bulls got the deviation 2 and the 1 line, and the Bears, they haven't even got their pink deviation line. So what do you think is going to happen? They're gonna want their piece, you know. They want their booty, you know what I mean? Want that treasure. So they're gonna do their best to continuously drown down back to the gulag. You got the NASDAQ here going negative now. So
CNS. Yes.
this should be a nice continued short. Look at this opening here at 18,600, way below it. Just let it just fall all the way down to the gulag, folks. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride down. I have a line at about 43 to 33, so that's a good area somewhere between there as well. And then 33, the 18,543 cracks this line right here, then we should be going down to the deviation line. Remember, every time it drops, there needs to be a little bit of a pop up as well. So time that well by drawing your lines. Again, I'm mainly paying attention on the 1 and the 5 right now at the moment. Okay, what a day. So let's see here. We got the RSI being at the oversold territory on the 1, so it should be a little bit of bounce from this line here at 18,543. Come back up a little bit here and then go from there. Right now, you got only 45 seconds on the 5-minute chart as well, so I'm gonna wait. But mainly still very bearish. 14 EMA, about to cross below the VWAP here on the one. 25 seconds. Let's see how the R side looks. MVOS still needs to break 120. Yeah, so it's still looking bad. So it's ready to probably see that pink dip, the deviation line next. Yeah, Nasdaq's down 17 points now. It's definitely went from green to red, like I said, to watch for.
Yes.
So let's take a quick look at the 15-minute chart as well here on NQ. Beautiful rejection off the 200 right there. Straight downtrend, like I said, making a lower low. So it made a lower low, continuously dropping. We got around what the last wick drop was like 18,484. You also got to keep in mind about the 18,500, the whole number of support. Along the way, you want to look at the 5-minute though here, the pink deviation line as a little bit of the next support area potentially for the bulls before another probably a little bit of a move back up. So we do need to kind of keep that in mind, and then maybe kind of pay attention. Once the 5-minute, I'm gonna mainly just watch that pink deadline next on the 5-minute, but because the buyers could come back in there and then try to push it back up at least towards the VWAP or so. And then later, pink deadline cracks, we can get back to the deviation line. But right now, we got such a big plunge. All right, let's go down the list on the stocks real quick, although I'm not expecting a whole lot. DHAC. Yeah, no, care about that. Lucy, yeah, Lucy and MVOS. So I could already smell it. Those are the only two that I really am only personally interested in. So we got another pop back up from the 18,532 technically on the 1-minute. You got the pink depth line testing here. So that's why I said I like to watch both lines here a little bit. That was a good area to cover into. And then if we can flip it back on the long right now, it's trying to wedge back up here in a 1-minute. So we'll see.
DSLR.
Looking better here for the bulls. I think I'm going to try to get that 55 line there.
FOXO.
56 area there.
RRGB.
Yeah. Put this line back up.
FOXO.
And the Q probably wants to get that 67 line there next if it breaks the 56. So there's still a 10-point move left. If that 56 line does break back up, there's a 14 EMA there at 65. So, but keep in mind on the 5-minute, we are still very bearish here. So stay more bearish and take the quick pops on the longs. When the market goes red, you have to stay more on the winning side.
Northeast DSLR. FUT.
Okay, so it looks like Lucy, a lot of resistance at 118. These lines do work, and that's why we have these old lines that we can always use. A lot of times on Fridays on the stock world, on these penny trash pumpers pumping stocks, what's going to happen? Well, they're going to try to just short into those lines. it's a big shorting day on these trash companies with no news. So you can take the quick play on the long, but look at these wicks once, twice, and the third time at 118, no go. Remember, third touch breakout is the key, but here, third touch, triple, like, you know, hammer down. Right now, I'm waiting for NQ to see if it's going to establish support at 18,544 line. So that's going to be like this line right there. MVOS still has his looks like buyers are still doing their very best to try to hold this area up, and perhaps may want to try to do a 10 EMA bull flag, but I would still be a little skeptical. So on the 5-minute chart, we are still making that lower highs and lower low look. So we should be coming down to the pink deadline on the 5-minute chart at this rate. So. Oh, there she goes. There's that pink deadline now. Beautiful. And guess what? Almost down to the oversold territory in the 5-minute. So good area to start locking in again, and then see if the pink deadline starts cracking after the 5-minute candle. Then we can look for all the way down to the deviation 1 line here. So stay bearish, folks. When the market's red, it's still going down further. Now down 36 points. So we talk about the 18,500 mark, and then all the way down here to the 18,485, which was the last low at 655. From here, we got all the way up here. So crack through that. There's going to be a little support there. We got more move down to the deviation 1 line. Right now, expect a little wick into the deviation 1 line on the 5-minute chart here, because we are still at the oversold territory on the 1, on the 5, almost there. Not quite yet, but
COGT.
In the next few weeks, we are going to build out a beginner futures kind of, since we don't have a video on it on futures. I think a lot of people, it'll be beneficial for you guys to get that kind of the basics filled out, because really once you get the basics, it should be very easy. I will say, yeah, it's a little bit kind of, I'm not gonna say it's complicated, but it's just like connecting the whole like rhythmic and the NinjaTrader and all that. Like if you're not really the techie guy, it could be a little bit daunting, but we're gonna get that all figured out for you guys. So in the meantime, if you rather wait until that comes out, that's fine. You can just at least get an idea of what's going on here while you still trade stocks. But I've been really enjoying, like I said, just trading stocks and futures at the same time. But some people like to choose either or both, but do your thing. Alrighty, so wait for the next candle, I would say personally. Should try to pop into it, so like wick into the pink deadline, and then try to pop back up, and then wait for the next candle. If it's still a lower high, then expect another lower low and to continue to drop down. But I would think buyers are going to want to try to push it back up to the 1 minute 14 EMA again. So I'm going to watch to see that rejection there, or the 14 EMA on the pink deadline on the 1 minute chart. So
FOXO. HPT. SLS. COGT. LRFR. FOXO. Northeast. LSMT. NBUT. LRNR. HNRG. N. GPCR.
Okay, so heavy pull back up. Like I said, you want to wait till the candle cracks. There's good area to cover. Wait for that pop out towards the 14 EMA on the 1 minute. Here you can see on the 1 minute here, right? Trying to pop up towards that 14 EMA there. That's gonna be a bit of a resistance that bulls are gonna really need to pierce through.
LSMT. CYH. SLS. NRG. GPCR. SHOT.
Okay, so right now what happened? 14 EMA just hit on the 1 minute chart. Okay, and now we're on our way down here. But what's going on with 1 minute though is the RSI did curl up, and we do need to kind of keep in mind of this new uptrend that's potentially going to start if the 14 EMA here really breaks and going to get to this next line, and then try to push it back all the way up here again. So I would pay attention to that 14 EMA on the 1, or that's going to be the line here that I have at 18,544. It needs to get back above this line right there. NVOS trying to reverse back up from the $1, so it is definitely worth watching here. NVOS $1 support still holding or watching.
GPSR. TPS. GPCR. COGT. 9.
44 is going to be a little bit of resistance. Expect a little slight pullback from the 44 area, a 544 line here, because right now it's going to need some time to develop the shape of the candle there. Right now, the 1 minute is trying to push it up here though, so you got less than 2 minutes on this candle. If this does become support now, then you got a shot at this next line to line. So we'll see. I think it needs to pull back down to the 40 again, 18,540 or so. Establish support back at the 1840. 18,540.
Yes.
That's where the 10 EMA, 14 EMA is at.
BRNA. Namba.
Okay, so testing the 18,540 line, there's just now.
HNRG.
You can make actually quite a lot of money on futures, and that's why I'm gonna Well, I was gonna show it to you guys once I reached my milestone,
yes,
but so far I turned my $2,000 on the futures to 30,000. So with just little as $2,000, I turned it to 30,000 in about 2 months, just taking it easy. So my goal is to turn it to 100K from 2K, but that's why I'm telling you guys, like, you know, you don't have any restrictions on the futures as the penny stocks, like, or any stocks, because you know, you can go long, you can go short, like you can literally do this in and out as many times as you please, as versus here on penny stocks, you know, you really have to be very good at finding the stocks early and get in early and then get out after the towards the end of the pump, you know, or end of the, you know, getting over bought territories. So ooh, there she goes. Now the 40 cracks, and now we're going down. That 14 EMA is just tough. So look at that. Look at what just happened. That 1 minute here just cracked. I said you need to establish support at 44. Look what happened. It was just a little wick. I said it needs time to develop, otherwise it's going to come down. Look, it come back down to the pink dev line again.
LRFR.
Because if you think about it, just 10 points gives you $200 a day. Just 10 points. So you do 5 trades and do 10 points, you're making $1,000 a day. You know what I mean? So
GOE. SRCL.
now you can go in 2 contracts and go for 10 points, because 2 contracts for 10 points is 400. So do 5 of those trades for the day. You're up 2 grand. 2 grand, you do that consistently, you have a system, you're pulling in 10K a week. 10K times 4 weeks in a month is 40 grand a month. You know, your life can be a lot easier if you're pulling in, you know, anywhere from 20 to 40 grand a month. Nowadays, 10 grand a month isn't, you know, enough for you to live luxuriously because of inflation. So you guys have to take it seriously. You know, you can't take it easy when you know, you're kind of barely getting out with stocks. You know, you kind of start really need to getting that hunger to learn other ways to pull in more money, because inflation's not getting any better anytime soon. It's everything, living costs, everything is going to continue to go higher and higher. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep sitting here, wait for some pumper to say, hello, everybody, my pick of the day is NVOS, let's pump it, and then it's hit or miss still? You know, are you going to try to depend on that kind of crap, or like actually learn the system, build it, and once you have that blueprint, you just execute it? As long as you are disciplined every day, just avoid the days that you're feeling sick, avoid the days that you're not feeling great, and you know, avoid going in large on the days that's not your type of day. You know, the market is bloody red and you're more of a bullish guy, maybe it's not your day to, you know, go in large. Take it easy, size down, right? You know, successful traders that are in the top 10%, they're really good at learn to back off on their sizing on days that they're not confident or they're not at the A+ game. NVOS, like I said, watch the $1 support still holding, breaking out of the downtrend line. You're going to come up to the next line at 120. You can just master, like on days like today, instead of buying more on the breakouts, which you can, but you know, you guys know chances of the bears wanting their share. So always thinking probabilities. Okay, what is my probability of getting, you know, is a probability high waiting until 120 candle break, or is it better to let it settle down as it's still building the higher low? Then I'm gonna give it a try up towards that $1 grab, and then sell into maybe 10 cents, or like half of your shares at 110, the second half towards, you know, 120 or whatnot, and then set a stop at 109 or something. That way you're still out with all your profits. So we made another lower low here on NQ. Huge drop after not being able to establish that 18,544 line that we talked about. And now we're on our way down to the deviation 2 line on the 1 minute and on the 5 minute. The 1 minute line is coming down to about 18,476. I have a line at 18,485. So it's going to be another good opportunity to take a quick look forward to another little quick pop up here if it's going to do so. But so that quick pop up there again in this line here. So you guys just gotta have to take advantage. Next candles now here. Now we're testing still bearish, and it's gonna be coming down to the oversold territory down to deviation 2 line here. So beautiful. So now you know you kind of have to start thinking like this too. If you're in the futures right now, is it a good time to now FOMO and gosh, I missed all this short. Now let's short here now. Like let me just short now. Because they said there's still room to run down a deviation. That's a mistake right there, folks. That's you trying to catch the end of the tail. That's like you coming to a feast and you're all the kings and queens already ate all this great meal and they just threw some bones and you're eating the leftover. Like you want to be a peasant like that, or you know wait and get in at the king's table and eat it up all the way down, and then you can you don't care about the change here at this point. You're like, all right, whatever, do your thing, So this is what I'm talking about. People get FOMO'd in, they start showing now. Let me get that last end of the tail, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, my luck. I can't believe it. Anytime I think they're watching me. They're watching me. No, it's you. You gotta shake off that. If you missed it, you missed it. Wait for the next setup, next entry, right? And then plan and then take it. Don't do this like, oh, I can't be this unlucky and let me just try one more time. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna quit forever. Very uneducated ways of doing things, and then you're gonna go to a different little career and you're gonna do the same crap there, right? I see so many people doing this every time. I see all the people that didn't do it properly, didn't even put in the the effort to do it properly, and the next thing you know, they say, oh, Dave, I'm gonna go to this other thing, and then they gotta do the same thing over there, and then come back and like I noticed that my discipline isn't there. That's why trading is gonna really toughen you up. If you can't if you can't make it here, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't make it anywhere else, obviously, but it's just like this is an opportunity for you to like really test yourself and grow. It's gonna be challenging in the beginning, just like anything else, but you have to really figure out and put in the effort to try to figure out, okay, what is it that I need to really what is it that I need to work on? Because everyone's gonna be a little bit different. Some people their brains click better on the chart side versus the psycho. You have to know what your weakness is and then your strength as well, and then develop your strengths to where now you start kind of mitigating. Like if your weakness is like your risk, you're good at locking in gains, the small gains, but then you suck at getting opt before that, and then you always take large losses, right? So and that's something everyone has their weakness, and you have to realize that and then quickly figure out, okay, what's a better way to kind of mitigate that loss, if that's your issue, right? Maybe you just think about it. Maybe you'll just get better if you just start just taking the smaller losses. You know what I mean? So if you just start doing that more, then you'll develop a good habit. But if you start taking these bad trades, bad entries and bad exits, what's going to happen is you're going to keep developing those bad habits. And that's why you're constantly going to be at that negative cycle, the constant, and it has to start with you, right? The money, I keep telling you guys, the money's going to come once you have developed the basics and the foundations. Then it's going to eventually come. But, you keep trying to gamble folks, look at all these gamblers out there. Their lives are ruined because they keep gambling, you know, and it becomes an addiction. I don't want you guys to get into that mode. This has to be where you have to figure out a system, strategic, you know, and figure out, okay, once you finally see it and you know, you get a little taste, you should be hungry to try to make it even better. So, and I know some of you guys, even once you found the system and then you end up like giving back all that profit, I know it's really discouraging, but just think about that. There was that potential you had, right? You had that taste. So what's stopping you? Like, all you got to do is just keep refining it. And then one day you're going to keep stacking. And then, yeah, there's going to be drawdowns. You got to give your gain some back. But the key is to like what? To protect your profits and continuously like make that high or low chart on your account. So if you start at 2K, goes to 4K, you doubled it, dips back down to 3K. Yeah, it sucks, but push through. You're still up 1K, get it back up to 4.5K, drips down to 3.8K, back it up again to 5K, and then steadily do that. And by doing that, you know, and you have to understand that's not going to be just all wins and wins and wins and wins and just, you know, you go from 0 to 100. You have to expect a little bit of setbacks, but it's a setback is just, you know, you're setting it up. You're setting up for a bigger moves because you're learning on the way. But if you're not learning on these setbacks, see, that's the thing. You're not setting up for the bigger pull-ups. So, all right. So we're coming back up to 120 here on NVOS. This 120 here, what is it? What do you think I'm looking for? 120 here needs to get a support formed here. We got 50 seconds still to do so. 130 is the up halt here on NVOS. Pacific Northwest, have a great weekend if you're taking off right now. But NVOS 1.30 here.
No.
1.30 is the all up right now. Or showing alt up. And NVOS still the king because yes, at the market open, you got short window and it did pull back, but the pullback wasn't anything drastic. It didn't make a lower low. You know, it still kept a higher low here, broke out of this trend line, and then we got that bigger pop. Now, 120, we talk about how strong it is. Still lots of wicks. If you're on the Heikin Ashi, turn it on. You got wicks like literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the 6th time now to see if it's going to be able to do it. All right, so pretty much you should have made a ton of good trades just by staying on the short. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like your times of being on the bull side is very limited on when the market's red and, you know, it's downtrending. So you only had like what, 1, 2, 3 green candlesticks. Yeah, sure. There's on the 5 minutes still within it, you know, you're still gonna have a little bit of bounce, but didn't close green. You know, it's 1, 2, so many red candlesticks. So this is what I'm talking about. Just by sticking on the right side of the trend, your probability of winning goes up significantly higher. Same thing with stocks. So with stocks, the way I think is, okay, where's the volume at? Where's the herd? How much has it traded versus the average volume, right? These are very important things to kind of keep in mind. Like for NQ, we don't have to worry about what the average volume is. And, you know, it's always going to have enough volume for us to trade. There's going to be a little bit slower days. But today on news days, all you got to do is go to Market Watch and just look at how, what's going on. Like I keep telling you guys this, like just every week, beginning of the week, look at what's going on, what's going to happen for the whole week. So you got what? It's our last day of the month, May. Oh, I need to update this. You know, go to Market Watch, go to the economy, politics / calendar, right? And then you got the where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so that May 31st right there, right? Today at 8:30. The 8:30 marks, whenever you have these news, are going to be very important. Usually it's going to be popular on the Mondays are not important days because you hardly have much important news times. Sometimes you always want to double check though. You know, does 10 o'clock's probably going to be decently kind of important, but I wouldn't still consider Monday to be a big news day. Like something like, you know, for next week, you got the 8:30 initial jobless claims. Thursday is going to be very important. It's going to be active. Friday, we have a lot of U.S. employment report, 8:30. It's going to be important, right? Wednesday too is going to be kind of important, but Monday and Tuesday next week is going to be, you know, chill days. So you don't have to have a whole lot of, you know, tense and tense. You know, it's a more relaxing day. So that's what I'm talking about. So it was once you kind of get a gauge of what the market's going to be like, you're prepared mentally, and you know that on a day like today, this is when you can go a little bit more aggressive on the short side. So like this RSI just never was able to curl back up. It's a shame. It's this RSI has been gold, like literally. See, the only time when it had the green candlesticks was because the RSI bounced out of the white line, and then it was just a short moment until it cracked all the way back down. Never was able to recover back above the white average line here on the RSI, the red line here. So now we're on the oversold territory. We've already hit the deviation 2 line. So like, do I personally want to keep one short here? Probably not. At this point, I think you need to be sitting on a nice pile of cash and just be like, oh wow, I'm grateful, and let's wait until the next really good setup. At this point, yeah, probably expect a nice bounce, and maybe look for a little bit of a higher low if it not, yeah, deviation 2 line cracks. I mean, at this point, you know, you can just expect continued line to line, but personally, am I gonna look to keep shorting for no low? No, I'd rather look for the higher low and then pop it up towards 18,467 line. This is gonna be around here, here between this and this line here. Well, first things first, the deviation 2 lines right there. So I would look into these line to line and then go for the ultimate here and then the 14 EMA here. So now my positions are closing the short, and now we just simply wait. The days that I do the worst are the days that, you know, you just didn't get that good night's sleep. You know, you're not going to be a robot every day. It doesn't matter. Even high performers, they're not going to wake up and feeling like, you know, amazing rainbow day every single day. There's going to be days where, you know, you're just not that motivated. You know, that's a normal thing. You know, you think some people out there that are killing it is just going to be like robots and feeling like, oh my gosh, it's an amazing day. Like, you know, yes, there's a consistency where you can, out of all the 365 days, you have more days where you're having that, you know, great mindset, but there's got a couple days out of the year where you're not feeling the best. And you have to be okay with that. And then as a trader, when you come to this trading station, you have to ask yourself, all right, but is, you know, where am I on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, I'm on a scale on a 6. I don't feel that great. Okay, so what? But so it's not so what, boo-hoo, get over it. It's like, just face the reality. Okay, I really am not, you know, I'm at a 6. It's not terrible. It's not a 1, but I need to like be a little bit cautious with my trading. It doesn't matter how easy the market might be, but I need to maybe size down a little bit, because if you size up and then you're not really like, your mentally is not there, you're not concentrating enough, then you're going to be loosey goosey. Next thing you know, because you sized up on a day that you shouldn't have, now you're dealing with potentially going against you, and the prices, you know, and it's all jacked up. So, you know what I'm talking about, some of you guys. You guys know the days that do well because you executed well. You had this plan, and man, I feel really good. I made such good trades, and you've earned it. There's gonna be days where you're gonna be like, man, it's not even about the money. I just made good trade, and that feels even better, right? Trust me, it's not. It doesn't feel great if you got lucky and you made all this money, right? Does it feel good if you got lucky and you made the money? I mean, you know, It's not going to be a great feeling versus as great as, man, I really knew what I was doing. I nailed it. I caught that top of the shore. I caught that bottom buy, or I caught that breakout trade, and that was beautiful, you know. So that's what you should be aiming for the good trade. Like, man, I knew this was going to come up and I took it. I went in with a plan and I stuck with it, and I'm proud. And the more you do that, guess what? Your inner self, you're going to trust yourself more. When you trust yourself more, you become more confident. And when you become more confident, you become more competent. Now you want to just, you're in that trading in the zone now. You're like, man, I want it. I want to keep going. Like, you're laser focused, and you just keep doing what you need to do every day, your ritual. All right, I've taken my 3 trades. I'm done. Bam. Like, you have your set of rules and you're done. And every day you're just you know, pulling out money. We're stacking money. So we're still cracking. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough to, try to get back in on the long when, markets continuously going downhill. We were up NASDAQ 50 points. Now we're down 140 points. So continuously cracking, and that's because, again, the 1-minute chart here, what I was looking for was a higher low here to see if it's going to go, but it cracked. So now that's when you bail and like, okay, I'm not going to try to catch a falling knife. Or to the next line here. And like I said, I did tell you, we're probably going to see somewhere around this mark to this mark, the 18,377 here. That's going to be the big shallow area. This is the big gap compared to these other areas. Another area was here, right? 18,457 to 18,486. So that was like a 30-point area here. And same thing here, around 77 to about 44, or the 18,400. This is 18,400 is a big support line there again, the natural support line.
That's not cheating. There you go.
I think we are so oversold that we need a little bit of one more bounce. Small little quick bounce to about 408. But if the 18,400 does not hold, it's going to be a bit tough.
Never.
All right, well, it's 10:32 here, folks. So I'm going to take a quick stretch break and then look for some new setups. I do think towards 11 a.m., we're going to be more bullish again on NQ, or maybe it might be even starting now here in a little bit, but I just don't see this continually dropping all the way down here. I think we're getting very close to where I just think bulls need to get some of their green candlesticks. You know what I mean? Now we're still just kind of cruising along. 18,377 is my final line there for the bulls. I'm thinking, or I can keep on making 18,400. Once 18,400 becomes resistance, that's going to be a problem. But right now, I think the 5-minute is going to try to hold up a little bit. So let's see.
Chase.
All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm going to take a quick stretch break. All right, guys. So for those that are still here with me, we got about 20 minutes till 11 a.m. ripper dip time. So let's see what the setups we got. So you can see here on NVOS, why did I keep pointing 120? Well, look at the 120. It's a bunch of wicks not being able to become support at 120. Wicks drops, wicks, and then keeps rejecting. So if you would like to see a pop, let's see if it starts pumping up towards 11 a.m. rip. Or this could just be one more fake out here, because we have to keep in mind the higher high. Every time it makes a higher high, people are selling or shorting. So this is where I would look at. Obviously, not the greatest day for the stocks on a Friday for the bulls. That's just usually how it goes. But futures today, phenomenal for short. So we're still within this range here on the futures in the 5-minute, and we're cracking again on the 1-minute. So we should be continuously going downhill to make another new low, in my opinion. So that's what I'll be watching for the 365 line next. It should be coming down here.
So where? TBTX. GOE.
And then just hit that line there at the 18,365 and just bounced. You see that line right there, 18,365 line. And now that means that it just became support right there at the moment. So we do need to kind of keep in mind that we're still in the oversold territory. The 5-minute starts curling up here on the RSI, then that's going to be your cue for a potential nice reversal towards 11 a.m. But this candle keeps not breaking out of, and wedges out of this line. Expect this to continuously bounce, ping pong back and forth all the way. It's just going to be doing this zigzag, you know, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down within this. It's got to break out of this zone, and then it can freely move back up. Right now, it's trapped in this cage.
CTX.
And just made a new low of the day again, just barely. It's still getting hammered. I would now just pay attention to the next 55 seconds, because this shoots up. Most likely this is going to follow through. So I would just be patient now and let stop being so aggressive on the short now. Just kind of take the foot off the gas here. And this metal to the pedal, not so much here. 364. Now 364 cracks, yeah. I mean, we got more line there, but geez. And it's gonna be another new low of the day again. Now on the 15-minute chart, technically, you know, we have more room to run down, but looking at the 1 and the 5-minute chart, just this is when I need to kind of take it easy a little bit here on the short. It could potentially wedge out of that trend line there. So that's why I'm watching, you know, as it starts wedging out here, it could create a little bit of a higher low, and then now the little birdie's out of the cage and it's going to fly back up. That's how I see it. You know, the bird keeper didn't do his job of closing the door still, and then let it open. The birdie flew. Birdie wants to fly, so now we'll see. That 18,365 line is that support line there now. Let's try back up to move up. See if that candle turns green or not. Now the only thing is RSI still did not turn up. It's a little bit interesting how the RSI did not turn up, meaning that there's a potential that this could still just be a rundown. So this is where I'm like, if I'm not too sure, then I'm gonna let it take it easy. I'm just telling you my mindset, like, of how I trade. Like if I see something like, you know, oh my gosh, like we literally hit like to the T, it's extended, it hit the 15-minute resistance, yada yada yada. I got so much reasons to go short that I'm gonna go full short, right? Those are the ones that you take the nice trade and you get a nice big fat win. The other ones, if you're not, you know, if this is just normal ones, you just kind of just, you know, go for the singles, take a quick hit, take the 10-point move, take the 5-point move, you know, and that's it. then those singles add up. 50 bucks here, 100 bucks there. Next thing you know, you're done for the day for $300 in like in an hour or maybe 30 minutes. So if you have a 9 to 5 job, you make 300 bucks a day, working 8 hours or whatever, then hey, you actually make 600 bucks, right? So like 30 minutes spent. I really want to stress though, like the key to surviving in this game is keeping the money. Okay. Like it's fun and all when you make the money, but your job is to be a good risk manager. The moment you get in, I mean, it is your job. You are a risk manager. You have to make sure that account does not blow up, because account goes blowing up and it's bye bye birdie. Uh, you need money to make money, right? So if you have money, yeah, you can always fund it again and hope that you recover that money. But the longer you keep digging a hole, uh, it will get a little harder. It's possible to recover all of it, but see, the thing is, the person that keeps blowing up their accounts and funds it over and over again, like, it's just something's wrong. It means that they haven't really learned a lesson. They haven't really found that system. So the priority then should be to have like a small account or practice on some other thing until you master that discipline. And that's when it sucks that, because, it may require that you're not making real money. You need to go back to your demo account or, simulation account and practice until you get better. And then, personally, I just think the prop firm way is way better, because you're making progress to actually get a payout instead of you just wasting your time on a simulation where you're never going to get a payout. Way better to just practice your discipline on the futures. This is how I see it. Everything I'm telling you guys is I know it's going to set you up for success. These are ways to make sure you're making some sort of progress instead of not making any progress and you're just wasting time. So what's going on here? Well, what's going on here is we're still in this cage here. So not a green candle yet because our side did not turn up, but you got 25 seconds. So let's see. I think earlier we just made another new low. We got a lot of lines here. With watch NVOS getting very interesting here as we are getting, you see how it's getting more narrow here on NVOS, meaning I think time's coming up. You got to also know when it's time to start shutting it off or GTFO. You don't want to be waiting till the end of the tail and then not knowing what's going to happen. You need to start planning now and figuring out the range is getting tighter. You had an opportunity to go from 88 to 123, 96 to 126. Now it's getting more tight. There's not a whole lot of benefits left. It's looking like, okay, the kings and queens have already ate, and now we're at the leftover season here. So the question is, do you want to be part of the leftover crew here trying to make pennies? Trying to keep forcing yourself, trying to get this 120 break, even if it does, like, what's going to face another resistance? Even let's say if it does break out here, make a new high day. It might hit 130, right? But you got to time that very, very quickly, and you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, what happens if you miss that sell right there? Well, the chances are the short are gonna really want to hammer this thing and go all the way back down here. So you need to get ready to be where like, okay, I need to set my stop now and or get out before what's the terminology? Shit hits the fan. So it's your job. It's your job to look at all these things. You're like a pilot. It's your responsibility to do your best. You're the account owner. You're the one making the trades. You're the one clicking buttons. Man up, you know, get a grip and own up to your losses. Own up to every decision that you make, you know, and just keep practicing and keep getting better at it. Stop looking for excuses. You know, oh, the market sucks. The market's a trap. It's a scam. Forget about all that. It's you. You just need to focus on, I need to get better. And with that mentality, you're going to go far. All these other guys, the maggot mindset is, oh, no, just always looking for pointing fingers. Like they don't want to ever take responsibility. And those are what we call losers, right? And they're going to continue to attract more loser results and folks around them. That's why you need to be surrounded every day as best as you can to consume good stuff, positive things, and the good strategies and reminders. And that's why, you know, hopefully my hope is every day you come here, I mean, you're reminded of the discipline, the things that you need to get done, your duty, instead of just waking up every day and just being like, here's another day. Here we go. Just another day. It's probably going to be another negative day. That attitude ain't going to take you nowhere. So show up with a winning attitude and let's stay laser focused and you're going to get the bag. Well, folks, I mean, I think we should just call it here because there's just not a whole lot more. I can keep rambling on, but I think that was a good first, you know, morning session. Seems like people are already taking off anyways. I just, you know, I'll go down the list one more time before you get off here, guys. You got ADRT, number one gainer, so $28 stock, not interested, doesn't look good. It's the low volume too. VNAI, you know what? This one actually did a pretty good job. This is probably one that I would say I missed out on. Okay. But VNAI, like I said, there's gonna be one or two rats that might pop out when I start getting the juice. But it's actually here. It's late, but you know, if it decides to do this 11 a.m. rip thing, we can look for this, or you can look for this because I'm gonna have to take off here. But this area here, middle lower high, it breaks out here. What I like about this guy is there's a big $4 resistance. If the $4 whole dollar shuffle happens, look at the room it has in the daily chart. You got a lot of room, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to, it's got a lot of room here on BNAI. So I would think, yes, it's going to be tough, but it's already done a $3 break to 4. 12 million volume traded. Been so focused on the futures that it's. So I like BNAI if it can really get this last nice pop. So let me see if it has to be 4, if we can get in. So there's a better spot here on BNAI. So it's good to go down the list one more time before we get off. Yeah, so there's a lot of resistance here at, I mean, even just before 4. You could do a 380 to 4. There's a 20-cent, you know, scalp that you could do 380 to 4. But just know it is a little, you're kind of playing at the premium level here when people already start at 240. So I would have loved to have started either there or within these two lines, you know, somewhere between, because we played this in the past. We have a line at 293 and then what is that, 315. But 11 a.m. rip does happen, $4. I think BNI could offer some really nice candle breakout. So I will look for that play at $4, but please don't get faked out at 4. You have to wait until the $4 candle break happens. And then this guy has a good shot. This could be a big, you know, afternoon potential play if the traders follow through, that is. So look what happened on futures, by the way, on NQ. We are starting to wedge out. We find the birdie's finally out of the cage now. Again, now we're coming back up the deviation 2 line. RSI still hasn't yet gone up, so something to keep in mind. But overall, trend-wise, it broke out of the cage. Okay. I'll leave BNAI here on watch for the $4. I'm not really personally going to be interested in this until then, or unless it goes all the way back down to these support levels. But the good times are already coming to the end here, I think so. XHG is coming back up to the 123 line there. That needs to go for the breakout. And I think that's it. So one more reversal would be nice here. I think, you gotta get a good reversal coming up, which is already starting. You got still room towards that 14 MA on the 5-minute chart. So I would look to aim somewhere between 18,420 line here to the 18,445 line. So you still got some potential there, but personally, I'm going to wait until I see the RSI confirming the average line, because at that time, right now, it's getting a little pullback, and I'll figure it out. And you'll figure it out from there. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay blessed, and looking forward to seeing you guys on Money Monday. All the uploads for the past week is going to be on YouTube. All right, so take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.